Hesitation doesn't feel dangerous. That is what makes it so powerful. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It sounds like common sense. It sounds like logic. It sounds like caution. You think you're just pausing, thinking it through, waiting for the right time, but behind every small amount of hesitation, something invisible begins to form. Not a wall, not a barrier, but a cage. A cage built from patterns. The pattern of scrolling instead of studying. The pattern of staying quiet instead of speaking up. The path of dreaming instead of doing. One decision at a time, one excuse at a time, the cage starts to get tighter. And the worst part, you don't even know that you're inside it. You start calling it your personality. You say, that's just who I am. You start calling it your reality. You say, maybe it just wasn't meant for me. But none of that is true. What's really happening is this. You have given the steering wheel to your fear. And fear doesn't slam the brakes. It slowly convinces you not to move. That's why the 5-second rule is so powerful. It doesn't give you more motivation. It gives you the control. It gives you the key that opens the door before the cage's door shuts. One that teaches you moment by moment how to act instead of giving in to your fears. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but now. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you have to physically move within 5 seconds or your brain kills it. Every single day, you get tiny gut impulses to speak up, to start working, to write down ideas, to start recording. But even if you wait for seconds, your brain starts thinking, what if I mess up? What will people say? I am tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. Those thoughts kill momentum. They are part of your brain's protective system to avoid any discomfort or risk. Even if that discomfort is just a little hard task or a little bit of embarrassment. The 5-second rule hijacks that pattern. By counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you interrupt the fear response. You shut off the overthinking and you force your brain to refocus. Create a moment of mental clarity to launch yourself into action. This isn't about forcing yourself to be fearless. It's about taking action before your fears speak. The reason that the 5-second rule works is that it interrupts the default patterns. Our brain loves patterns and routines. If you've been procrastinating, hesitating, or giving in to distractions, your brain has wired those as habits. When you pause to think, your brain leans on those default actions. And you'll say, I'll do it tomorrow. But when you count backwards, you disrupt those automatic pathways. It's like throwing a wrench into a machine. It snaps you out of autopilot and forces a new direction. Let me explain. Your brain has 2 modes. Autopilot mode, which is fast, emotional, and subconscious. This is where your habits live. It's efficient, but it resists anything uncomfortable or uncertain. When you hesitate, this system kicks in and pulls you back to safety, to procrastination and overthinking. And the second mode is the decision-making mode, which is slow, deliberate. It's your prefrontal cortex and it's conscious. This is where intentional action, focus, and change happen. But it doesn't run automatically. You have to turn it on. When you count down, you interrupt the habit loop. Our brains works on loops. So it's trigger, thought, and response. For example, you look at the time and it's a trigger that you have to study. And you think about it and you say that I'll do it tomorrow. The response is that you scroll on social media. But when you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's like slamming the brakes. You cut off the default mental loop before it finishes. This single mental task is enough to engage your prefrontal cortex, pulling your brain out of autopilot. The 5-second rule forces your brain into conscious decision-making mode, giving you the control to act deliberately, not emotionally. Once you start moving, your motivation increases. Think about how hard it is to start studying, but once you start, it is so much easier to just keep going because starting is the hardest part of doing anything. After you start, your brain starts working with you, not against you. This rule can be used in any situation that action is required, but laziness, overthinking, and doubt threatens to stop you. First, notice the instinct. It can be loud or subtle. For example, when you want to speak up, when you want to start studying, when you want to start working, or when you want to write down the business idea. That moment is crucial. If you don't act on it, you'll probably talk yourself out of it. That's why timing is everything. So after that you notice that instinct, you have to start counting down. Don't count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's infinite and you can keep going. You have to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in reverse because it creates a sense of urgency and it signals your brain that something is about to happen. And it distracts your mind from flood of excuses that are about to rush in. After noticing the instinct and counting down, you have to take action immediately. It can be a tiny physical movement like standing up, opening the laptop, closing the app. The action doesn't have to be huge, it just have to start the momentum. Your only goal is to move. This rule is not only for big life goals, it's for every moment that action is needed but fear appears. For example, waking up. When the alarm goes off, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and you stand up. You don't think, you don't negotiate, you just act. If you're struggling with procrastination, you get the instinct that I have to study. You count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and you write the first sentence. Or for example, for speaking up, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you raise your hand and you ask your question. Our brain's number one job is not to make us productive or successful. Our brain's number job is to keep us alive. And that means avoiding pain, discomfort, anything that feels scary or uncertain. So your brain naturally resists studying something difficult because you're afraid of failure. You naturally are afraid of speaking in public because you fear the judgment. You're afraid of launching something new because we are scared of the uncertainty. This is not personal weakness, it's neurobiology. So here's what's happening. When you think about doing something uncomfortable, your brain activates the amygdala, which is the fear center. You feel a wave of hesitation, self-doubt, and procrastination even before anything has gone wrong. If you wait even seconds, that emotional wave grows and you eventually give into it. The countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 disrupts the fear loop. Here's where the 5-second rule becomes powerful. When you feel that hesitation, you immediately count down and you move. That countdown gives your brain a new task, a new focus point. It interrupts the fear signal loop before it completes. It re-engages the prefrontal cortex responsible for conscious decisions, focus, and action. The circuit shift moves your brain out of emotion and into execution. Every breakthrough starts with a bold decision. And the 5-second rule gives you the courage to make that decision. Your life comes down to your decisions, and if you can change your decisions, you can change your life. Most people wait until they feel motivated, but the truth is, motivation is the result of action, not the cause of it. Do something and the motivation follows. Courage isn't something that you're born with. It's built by choosing to take action in a small moments of fear. Every 5-second decision is like a rep in your mental gym. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a proof. Every time that you act, despite the doubt, you collect evidence that you can trust yourself. It's not one massive leap that changes everything. It's hundreds of 5-second choices to speak up, to show up, and to keep going. This rule is a tool, it's not a magic pill. But when used consistently, it rewires your brain. You begin to trust yourself, push past fear, become a person of action, and take control of your life. Biggest regret that people have at the end of their lives is not about what they failed at, it's what they never had the courage to try. The 5-second rule is your daily weapon to eliminate that regret. Most of the times you can't control how you feel, but you can always control how you can act on it. You already know what to do. You just need a way to push yourself to do it. That is what this rule is about. Every day you face moments where comfort, laziness, and doubt try to steal your potential. But now you have a tool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And everything changes from there. So that's all I got for today. If you like this video and you can relate to these types of videos, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next videos.